What's going on, YouTube? Been a little bit too long. Sorry. Season was crazy. It was really hard to find the time to make a video, but now that the season's over, had a lot more time this off season, finally here. And this video is just going to be a quick recap of the season. I'm going to go through, talk about all the 4 events that I played this fall, talk about what I learned, what I should have done better, and my plan for the off season. So, without further ado, let's get into it. What's up, guys? Sorry I forgot to include this in the intro, but I'm super stoked to announce that I've partnered with Rowback to become one of their Rowback U athletes. Rowback is an awesome company with cool hats like this, awesome polos, lots of cool Q-zips, and a lot more. So if you want to upgrade your wardrobe and get 10% off your first purchase, use the link that's going to be in the description box down below. Hope you enjoy the video. Thanks. All right, so we started our season in Tunica, Mississippi for the Rhodes Invitational at Tunica National. I'm going to show you guys some photos of the courses and the scorecards just so you're not looking at my face the entire time. As you can see, Tunica National had a lot of water, very flat, and it's in great condition, which made it fun even though it was very challenging, especially in a competitive environment. Started the tournament off with a very boring 77, made one mistake. Other than that, played pretty well. Wasn't able to get any birdies, which is not great. Made that 18-hole turn, because in college you play 36 holes in the first day, and then the second day you finish with 18 holes most of the time. Made that 18-hole turn, was able to throw in some birdies into that second round, and play a little bit better, finished with 75. After day 1, came back and started off my third round pretty poorly. I was a 6 over through 5 holes, definitely not what I wanted. Was able to finish up pretty well, threw in some birdies at the end, which was good, because in these events it really does come down to 1 or 2 strokes for placing number 4 or 5, which should be a big difference. All in all, felt pretty good about it. Definitely a good learning experience. Learned how important it was to avoid the big numbers, play simple golf, because when you're out there for 12 hours on that first day, you don't want to be in a position where you're playing really high stress golf, because it can fatigue you and you just feel like you always have to play catch up. So really reiterated the concept that you just want to play super boring, stress-free golf as much as you possibly can. So, finished that tournament 13th over, tied 39th. Not what I wanted to start the season off with, but definitely a good learning experience for me. All right, then we headed to Seguin, just outside of San Antonio, for the John Bowman Memorial Invite at Starkey Park. This course was very different from Tunica. It was a municipal course. I played a lot better, though. Went 74, 72, 72, which was 5 over, good enough for a tied 15th finish. Played much better golf, didn't putt great, but partially that was due to the greens and how bumpy they were with the municipal course. We didn't play super well as a team. I actually was not able to qualify for our top 5, so it was not a counting score, which was a bummer because I just missed it and I was sick one of the qualifying days, but still got to play, still got that experience, which was good. Side note, in college, we have to qualify a ton before each round, which is very different for me in high school. In high school, I didn't really have to qualify because I was almost always the number 1 player in high school. So once you add that qualifying pressure throughout the season, it kind of accumulates, which is good in terms of competitive experience, but it's also a lot throughout the season. It's very draining. So all in all, we didn't do what we wanted to as a team, but I was pretty stoked about how I played individually, and I'm pretty excited about moving on forward with the rest of the season. Felt good about that one. All right, so after Starkey, we had a 2-week break, and unfortunately, that's when things started kind of going south for me. My thumb started hurting, my left thumb, just recently found out that I had aggravated my metacarpal left thumb joint. It was really hurting at the top of my swing. Came down, it was enough to mess up my swing a little bit and just made me a little bit more discouraged to play golf, because prior to that, I was just always out there practicing, playing as much as I possibly could. And all of a sudden, when it's painful to play, it's harder to get out there. I was still able to qualify for our third event in San Antonio, the Alamo City Classic. Was not able to qualify in the top 5, had an epic battle with Matthew Peaster, the other freshman. And he bested me by 1. It was a crazy match. I will have to do a future YouTube video about that, because it was wild. In the Alamo City Class, didn't play great. The Corey was really cool looking though. Such a cool course. It was very hard. It kind of looks easier than it was, just because of all the fescue is much more drawn out than in this photo. But didn't play well regardless. Started the first round out. Very, very mediocre. A couple of big numbers resulted in a 77. And then after I made that turn on that first day, I played some really, really bad golf over a 5-hole stretch, and that just left me with a very, very poor round of 83. Kind of went to our hotel room, reflected, kind of reminded myself about all the work that I put in, and came out for the second day for the third round and shot the team low of 71, even par, which felt great. Placed me at 18 over and tied for 27th. The team did not do great. We finished 5 out of 6, definitely not what we wanted. But my performance was good enough to qualify me for Destin, Florida, which is our 4th tournament of the season. So that we got back and we had like 1 day rest, and then we woke up very early and flew to Destin, Florida, stayed at the Sandestin Beach Resort, which was beautiful. The course was just amazing. They have a Corn Ferry Tour event there. Steven Yater won last year, so very, very cool course. Great track, really well kept, and very, very challenging. So this was our biggest tournament of the season, of the fall season, and I didn't play great. Injury was still trying to ponting me, but regardless, I didn't play very well at all. Started off with 79, which honestly, all in all, wasn't that bad. We had a morning tee time, and it was crazy busy, so I really wasn't that discouraged with that. This was this was the only tournament where they had 3 days, so 18 holes each day, which was very nice. Second round was not great. Made 2 big numbers. One was on a par 3, and not great. Yeah, nothing was going super well. The thumb was kind of hurting me, and the golf wasn't there, but I was able to kind of stick it out. Ended up counting for one of our rounds, and then that third and final day came out, started poorly, but definitely didn't give up, kept fighting. But like I said, just like the prior 2 rounds, just not great. Finished 29 over and tied for 110th. Our team finished tied 17th out of 24, which all in all wasn't horrible. Definitely not what we wanted, but we definitely all learned a lot this season and have a lot to use going forward into our fall season, into our spring season when it really counts. So we're just going to use all of our failures this season and move on. For me, I know that I need to first off get healthy and make sure that I'm good to go for the spring season, and then kind of change my thought process of practice. I'm going to try and play a little bit more and shoot some low scores and try and just get comfortable being under par in a practice round and then eventually in a qualifying round. And then I'm going to try and translate that experience to tournament play, because that's when it really counts and that's when I'm representing the team. All right. Thank you guys for bearing through that. I know that was a little bit dry just because I was doing a recap, but future videos are going to be a lot more exciting as I'm going to take you guys through what it's like during the off season and what I'm going to do to prepare for the next spring semester. So stay tuned. Thanks. Hope you enjoyed the video.